I know everybody's heard of Burns Fabricating, Gerald Burns, but I have his son-in-law, Jim Meagher, who's taken over the operations. I've used them for years. It's going to be a great discussion. So good today?
Well, we got all of our projects done on time and safe over at M&M Mars. We got a big project over there, so we've been fortunate.
Do they just keep doing stuff over there? Because you're there a lot.
Yeah, we're there. We're there full time now. So it's been a goal of mine for a long time, and we're there full time now.
So what's there to do?
So a lot of maintenance, a lot of conveyors that we have to tear down and put back up, a lot of platforms we put up, a lot of handrails, a lot of stairs, a lot of miscellaneous stuff in there. So it's been a good deal for us.
I guess a place that big always has some maintenance.
Always.
It's got to be an expense too, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's huge. I mean, all big plants are always looking to improve on quality, speed, and efficiency. I mean, that's the name of the game. The more you can get out the door, the better their profits are.
So if they can put a metal table 3 feet that way, they'll do it.
Amen. No matter what the cost, because they know down the road it's going to make them money.
Whenever you read a story in the newspaper or see something on television about somebody getting arrested, you naturally assume they're guilty. Unless the story's about you or someone you love, then you'll think differently. And you'll want a lawyer who will defend you. My name's Scott Canavis. If you or someone you love has been charged with a crime, call me. I'll return your phone calls, I'll work on your case, and I will defend you.
I built several doctor's offices, and the cabinets, when you walk in, you just think, well, that's their cabinets. But no, it's exactly, everything's within reach. Every drawer is laid out the exact same. It's all about nanoseconds with them.
Efficiency.
Just efficiency.
Yeah, exactly.
But man, you're in a business that's not laid out like that. It's organized chaos, about the way I explain it.
That's the way we've operated for the last 40 years, it seems like. But trying to change some things at the shop to where we're more efficient and providing a better quality product and more efficient product.
But we don't know what we're going to have the next week.
No,
so it's all
our jobs, like you said. A farmer could come in and need a tractor wheel welded up, or needed a blade sharpened. That's just what we've done for the last 40, 45 years.
I needed 2 plates bolted, and Gerald came out and
did it himself. 77 years old.
Yeah. Well, Devin was there.
Yeah, Devin was with him. Yeah.
They're going to get it tomorrow. And I went by there about 3:30 and they were done.
They were done?
So they must have.
they got it done, didn't they?
They got it done.
They got it done.
So how would you say Gerald is?
77.
77.
Yep. Still getting it. Every day.
He enjoys it.
He loves it. That generation of worker is far and gone, but they work their tails off and they love it.
When I was working for my uncle for all those years, we'd go down there all the time to Burns, and the building hasn't changed.
Has it? No.
Hadn't changed a bit.
Yeah,
I bet the same gravel in the.
I guarantee you. And it's been a struggle trying to update stuff, but it's been fun to take over the helm and try to see my vision versus his vision, and it's hard to argue with his vision because it was super successful.
I'd say it's hard to argue with him, period.
You got that right. Yeah. But you know what? He's earned the respect of all the people that he's worked with, and he's smart on that stuff. I mean, he's still, he may not be good on the computer, and he may not be good on anything else in the office, but by golly, you get him on that floor, he can do it.
That's where
I
he's
got-
comfortable.
Yeah, yeah.
Who was it? What's the history of Burns
So,
Fabricating?
you remember Herman Miller?
Yep.
He had the fab shop there.
I
And
remember
Gerald
Herman
worked-
well.
yeah. And so Gerald worked with Herman for, I think, I may be wrong by a few years, 1 or 2 years is when he worked for him. And Gerald was a foreman for him. And then Herman went out of business. And Gerald was fortunate enough to, his father-in-law, Bobby Taylor, helped him out and said, hey, you need to start your own business, and I'm going to help you. And that's how Burns Fabricating came out.
Was Herman located at that same spot?
I'm pretty sure that was the exact, yes, it was. That was the exact spot. And he bought that lot from him. And then they demoed the old building, put the building that's there now, that hadn't been changed
Right.
since 1984.
When did he take over that, Gerald?
I think it was 1984 is when he went in business.
It might have been longer than that.
No, I'm sorry, 75. 1975.
yeah.
I'm sorry, 1975. Yep.
Because I was
Yeah.
going in there.
Yeah, 1975 is when he started.
Now, there used to be a guy that worked there forever and he'd smoke a pipe. Was that Jim?
That was Keith.
Keith, yeah.
Keith
No,
Grisham.
Grisham, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he was there forever.
Ever. Yeah.
He
yeah.
was like the furniture.
I think the smoke from his pipe is still on
Yep.
on the walls.
He'd sit there like
All
that.
day long.
The only time he took it off is if he was going to write something down.
Yeah. Yeah. And he'd stuff it in his shirt.
Stuff it in his shirt.
Yeah.
And it was a welder's shirt.
Yeah. Yeah.
What happened to him?
So he just recently passed away in about the last 2 years or so.
Did he move to Florida or
No,
something?
no, stayed there. Stayed in Cleveland. Him and his wife Hackey, and they stayed out there off of Nopone the whole time. So
Did
that's where-
he go to work for Gerald in the beginning?
So he was with Herman Miller. So
Golly.
there was a lot of them. You remember Dwayne Hooper? You remember that name? Dwayne Hooper worked for Hardwood Frames of America, for Gary Coppinger and all that crew.
Did he wear the dingo boots?
I don't know if he did or not.
One of them wore dingo
Dingo
boots
boots.
all the time. It had the little loop
I
on it.
don't know. Maybe Charlie Sneed was another one. Do you remember Charlie
I
Sneed?
remember Charlie,
Charlie
but it
was,
wasn't him.
But wasn't him. Dwayne Hooper, Gerald,
let me
that whole crew.
What about Richardson? Tyler Richardson's dad.
You mean Randy?
Randy, yeah.
He worked for us for 37 years.
I think he wore the dingo boots.
He might have. Yeah, he worked for us for 37 years and decided to move to Florida.
Yeah, but he's the one that
Yeah,
moved Florida.
yeah.
That's right.
He was like a big brother to me.
Yeah.
He's the one that really taught me the tricks and the trades.
Mm-hmm.
I followed him. I was in his back pocket from 1995 all the way till he left.
I remember that now.
Yeah, I was in his back pocket. Super good guy, always faithful to the company. Worked his tail off. I can remember working, on Christmas Eve,
Mm-hmm.
and he was right there hand in hand with me.
His son runs the Calhoun.
Calhoun, that's right.
Water District.
Yeah. Tyler's a good
Yep.
kid, great kid.
Does those guys? That says something for those people to have worked for him so long.
Long and dedicated.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's Gerald is a great person, great person to work for. I think it's a testament to, that we
Sure.
don't have turnover.
Sure.
We don't have turnover. It's because we treat it like family. We treat everybody. We try to treat them like family. There are going to be times when you get irritated at somebody, but you know what? That's just part of being a business owner. But
Does Cowboy still run the crane?
used to, no. Not anymore. He's too old.
Is he too old?
Yeah.
How old would he be now?
I think he's right at 60. He
Is
just
that
can't see
right?
no more.
Golly, I didn't realize
Yeah.
that. He didn't seem that old to me.
I know, but we're not.
I guess that was 15 years ago.
Yeah.
He'd be at the orbit every morning.
Every morning. Yeah. Got his cowboy hat on.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now, I didn't realize till recently your dad was mayor and Mayor Furniture. Why did I
out there
not
on
know
yeah,
that?
Yeah. They had that for, I want to say, right at 20 years.
Why didn't you go into that business?
Never interested me. And I'll be honest with you, it's hard working for family.
Absolutely.
And you can
Absolutely.
get complacent and you can get,
Yeah.
I could see myself floating off and not working, and just letting him handle it all. And that would have been the way. That would have been my path, and I didn't want to do that to my father. And furniture really wasn't my passion. I'm not. I don't know much about it, and I never really thought anything about it, to be quite honest with you. I just I've always been a person that likes to work with their hands, and the opportunity came along. I was dating Ashley, and Gerald was kind enough to offer me a job. And
Did you know nothing about welding?
so
at that
I
time?
had been to welding school and had applied like at Combustion and Miller Industries, and nobody was hiring at the time. And Gerald's like, "Well, come on, work with me." And he was nice enough to do that. And I always say this is important. Gerald is my friend first and foremost. Second of all, he's my father-in-law. Third, he was my boss.
Yeah.
And that's the way I look at it. He was so much fun and is so much fun to hang out with, and he's taught me this trade, and it's been a great trade. So I never got into furniture though. Never really.
Who was Gerald's relatives?
So his father, I never met his father. His father passed away at a young age. I think he was like in his early 40s when he passed away, and Gerald was just a young man. Ellen Burns is his mother, and she recently passed away, I guess about 4 to 5 years ago. Time slips away, but I'm thinking somewhere around there. And then he's got his sister, Lynn Burns, and she worked for the county. She was the county accountant for years and years for Gary Davis.
Yep.
And she always did a wonderful job.
I didn't realize that was his sister.
Yeah.
Well, you can't talk about anybody in Cleveland, can
No,
you?
you can't.
Golly, there's so many connections. It's bizarre, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a great community. I
You know,
love it.
people you wouldn't even think were related to anybody. You just have no idea.
Yeah.
You can't sit down and figure out the connections that
I know.
are so bizarre.
Yeah. Sometimes you wonder if the tree's straight.
Well, you
if
know,
the branch is straight.
speaking of the Taylors, let's see, Gerald's wife. Let's see,
Linda Taylor. That
Linda's-
was Bobby Taylor's firstborn, which is
well, Bobby Taylor was my grandmother's first cousin.
I didn't know that.
Yep. My grandmother was. I get that so confused. Was Bobby a Slaughter? No, see.
Now Nancy Parks. That was his wife.
Not that end. It's Bobby. Bobby Taylor and my grandmother were first cousins, and I can't remember. how the connection is.
I'll have to.
It was
ask
on
Linda.
the Taylor side, I believe.
I'll have to ask Linda.
Yeah, she's like a third. We're like third cousins.
That's funny.
Isn't that
Yeah,
weird?
that's funny. So you and Scott are third cousins.
I think we're second cousins. We're third cousins.
cousins.
That's right.
Yeah. And how long have you known Scott?
Oh, I've known Scott since about the time they opened the bank.
Yeah.
They were selling stock.
Stock. Yeah.
They came in the Cherokee restaurant, him and Bobby and a few others, and they were selling stock in the bank. And
I hope you got in it.
I bought some, wrote them a bad check. I thought, well, if they're not, if they're not a bank yet, they can't cash this check.
Oh, that's funny.
And they didn't. They didn't cash it for about 2 weeks. By then, I had the money in the bank.
Oh, that's too good.
Isn't that bizarre?
That
Isn't that
is
funny?
too good.
It worked out well, hadn't it?
Yeah.
So, Scott's dad, Bobby's brother was Toby Taylor. And Toby Taylor worked at Watson's and used to give me quarters when I was a kid when I went there with my mother. He'd hand you a quarter.
Get
It's
you
a
some
big
meal.
deal.
Yeah.
Toby
Yeah.
Taylor.
Toby
And then he
Taylor.
had his own grocery store called Toby's.
Huh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
either.
and it was where Joe Rogers' office
Office
supply
supply
was.
is,
That
yep.
was Toby Taylor's.
Huh, I'll have to ask him
Isn't
about
that
that. Yeah.
bizarre?
Yeah.
So
Never
there's-
knew that.
You never. That's such a Boy, these spam calls. You get spam calls.
I do.
God, how many do you get a day?
At least 3. It wears me out.
I can always tell there's a 7 in it.
Yeah.
There's always a 7, like 47 something weird. What do they think we're going to get? What do they think I'm going to buy insurance from on the phone? Or car warranty? Or
That's probably what it is, car warranty.
I mean, I get them all day long.
it's
I'll get
aggravating.
10 a day.
It's aggravating.
I block them, but it doesn't do any good.
Yeah, report them as junk.
You
I
know,
get
that's-
text too.
Oh yeah, I'm getting those too.
Text.
I text on the elections. I'm getting them. I bet I've got 10 texts from Donald Trump today.
Wanting money.
or just some crazy, and people wanting to buy property.
Well, that ain't all bad if you
But
got
you
some
get them
property.
too, right?
I do,
Isn't
yeah.
it so annoying?
That is. It's aggravating.
How much do you think we spend in a day's time, people that work with us, looking at their phone?
Oh
Maybe.
God, that's the worst problem. It's a great technology is great, and it's also a curse because those kids, this generation, your son, I'm sure,
Yeah, oh yeah.
they get on it. But that was a big problem where we doing all this at work at the manufacturing. They don't want you on your phone. Period.
Yeah.
Well, here they are out there on the phone, and they're supposed to be doing fire watch, and that's for everybody. That's every contractor.
Yeah.
That's the biggest
Yeah.
fight that we have is trying to keep these kids off these phones. But yeah, I guarantee that it's wasted time.
Used to it was cigarettes.
Yeah.
Everybody had
We'll
to
have
smoke
to
a
take a smoke. Yeah,
cigarette.
take a break. Now
Now,
it's a phone.
now it's a phone. It's
Yeah.
about the same amount of time, I bet.
God, it's awful.
It is horrible, and some stuff is so important that you got to check it. You got to check the phone.
Yeah. Well, but that's our livelihood, though, Dee. Yours and I. That's how we communicate with our workers. That's how we communicate with job sites. But these kids aren't checking on job sites. They're checking on where's Sally eating lunch.
Yeah.
That's what they're doing. It's not productive.
Here a while back, we met somewhere and we went and ate at that 58 at Junction there.
Yeah.
Was that barbecue
That was
place?
barbecue place.
That's a
yeah.
good place to eat,
It was
wasn't
really, Yeah, excellent.
Well, I went to Old Fort today at lunch and I ate 2 hamburgers and an order of fries, and I'm just so stuffed.
Yeah, Old Fort's been around forever, hasn't it?
They've been around
It's
a long
great.
time.
It's
Boy, it's a good
stuff.
hamburger too.
Yeah, great stuff. Yeah, Pat's great.
So, do you think that that the business is different now than it used to be, or are you're not that much younger than me, are you?
I'm 53.
So we're about the
54,
same
yeah.
age. So it's different than it used to be, isn't
Yeah,
it?
absolutely. Yeah, I mean, a lot of it's all technology side. Our tools are getting more advanced, so we can do bigger and better things. And the project that you and I worked with, out there at the big house.
Yep.
20 years ago we wouldn't have touched that. But I'm not afraid anymore to touch the stuff because you can find the information, like I was saying, on the internet, or and you can find out how to figure out how to make stuff.
When I first started working with my uncle and building, the options were, do you want a white bathtub or an almond one?
That's right.
And there was $8 difference in the two. So it really didn't matter which one they wanted. Nowadays, you need to request, like today we're ordering some bronze metal. And I said, better check their color of bronze.
Yeah.
Because it's not.
There's 1,000 bronzes.
Used to.
Bronze is bronze.
Bronze, Anderson Windows bronze, and the storefront bronze. It was same.
Yeah.
But nowadays, man, you better check it, or you'll end up with $40,000 worth of bronze
Doesn't match.
shade.
Doesn't match.
Has a matte finish or something.
What are you going to do with it? Put it on eBay, sell it? Who knows?
Oh, I've got a shop full of stuff that's worth $50,000 that I wouldn't haul off. I couldn't pay you to haul it off for $100.
I know.
And I'll never use it again.
Never again.
But you keep it.
Yeah.
I remember I built a building for a lady, and they ordered some real fancy lights. At the time, they were like $15,000. And they came in wrong. We couldn't use them. I put them in the shop. I got rid of them about 6 months ago You know, there's nobody there. You know, if you had somebody that wanted them, they'd need 6, and you had 5.
Yeah, isn't that the truth?
You ever just go through and throw a bunch of stuff away?
Yep. And we did a big, just about a month ago. Shop was full of steel, stuff that we don't use anymore, stuff. So we just rolled a dumpster in there, filled it all the way full, and took her to Keesler.
Well, how much does Keys? I saw that.
Yeah, you seen
I
that?
saw it
Yeah,
out there. So will he just bring you a dumpster?
Yeah.
I noticed it had his name on it.
Yeah, brings me dumpsters, and when I do big work at the local manufacturer, they do that.
So and it's just for steel.
Yeah, just
it's
for
not
steel.
for
Yeah.
carpet or nothing.
No, just steel only.
How do you know? Will you get much for it?
So it just depends on the market, but it's usually around $8 a hundred.
So what would a dumpster like you had in front of your place be worth?
Probably $2,000.
Does he charge you for the dumpster too?
No.
So the dumpster would be $400 or $500 because they bring it and pick it up. So it's $2,000 worth of stuff.
Yeah.
It'd take you 3 days to fill it up.
Well, sometimes it takes just a day.
But that's a lot of steel because it probably doesn't pack very good, of course.
No, and it just depends on the weight, of course. You know,
Wonder what he does with it. Does he melt it down?
Yeah,
Or?
he takes it to another scrap yard.
Well, I bet that's a good business.
I guarantee. Carl's a great man too. Have you dealt with him much?
I have a little bit, and it was no problem.
He's great.
He was real efficient.
Isn't he great?
You just drive through there, and
Yep, he's great.
wonder how he started that. I
That'd
remember
be
about the time.
That'd be a good one to get on your show.
It would, yeah.
Yeah.
Carl Kiesler.
Yeah, he's a great one.
Well, I remember when he started that. He was doing something before. Can't remember what it was.
Was it a
And then
junkyard?
I think maybe it was a junkyard. And then the next thing I know, he was
Scrapping.
starting to sort stuff.
Yeah, and I mean he's got a yard full always. Yeah, so-
$2,000 worth of steel. I guess they'd melt it down and separate it somehow.
Yeah, like we do we get a lot of stainless, so I'll keep the stainless separated from regular carbon steel. Aluminum the same way. We separate those. And of course, stainless is going to be more than your carbon, and the aluminum is going to be more than carbon. But for the most part, around
People would have no idea what a stainless steel sink costs.
no, they wouldn't, or how much it costs
It's-
especially a custom built one.
Oh, a custom one. That's maybe 6,000-7,000.
Yeah, easily.
You know that grill stuff outside that's got a stainless steel sink. The sink's probably $2,500.
Yeah.
And those doors, they're $2,300 for a door.
Yeah, people don't realize how much things cost now.
Is stainless that hard to weld, or how?
It is. It's a lot. You got to have a special tungsten, special rod, special gas. So yeah,
And sanding it
sanding
off.
it and buffing it, and just like that bronze or the brass that we did. It's
Just
just
different.
all kinds of different applications. So you got to use the right tools and the right gases, the right electrodes. So people don't
Do you
realize that it
remember?
costs that.
The ancient world? You always hear that saying. They entered the Bronze Age.
Yeah.
Have you ever studied any of that?
No, I haven't.
Because I guess that was when wonder how they figured all that out.
I don't know. It blows me away.
Where they get bronze? Do you know?
I don't
Where they
know.
get it out of rocks or
I
something?
guess it out of iron ore and magnesium and whatever else is in it.
Melt the rock
Melt the
down or
rock.
something? I don't know.
And how'd they figure that out?
How'd they figure it? It makes you wonder if there were if they had some help.
Yeah. I mean,
Who
how do we know about this TV and how this stuff works? I mean,
I
I
can't-
couldn't tell you.
I couldn't figure out how a TV works, how you can take a picture of something
And send
and
it
it
all the way
goes
across
over
the world.
I just cannot.
It blows me away.
I cannot figure out how TV works.
No, I'm too dumb. I'm just an old dumb
It's just
iron
my
worker.
brain just doesn't work
Yeah.
that way. I can figure out how you could get water over there, but I couldn't figure out, and I bet they couldn't figure out how to get water over there. They're probably as oblivious to that as I am. How they'd get a picture over there.
It's crazy.
I don't know. I
I
don't.
don't either.
But,
Blows me away.
Do you think that you're a good? Do you think being an owner of a business makes you a good customer to somebody
I
else?
think so, because you can relate with the hardships. you know, and you know the deadlines, and you know also that a lot of things are out of your control. You know, like if I order something for D and he's expecting it to be here on the 25th, well, there's a strike up in New York at the docks. Well, I can't help that. You know, so there's a lot of things that I understand from being an owner now is there's going to be delays, there's going to be problems, and so I'm sympathetic to someone that is doing. Say if you were doing something for me.
Say a waitress at a restaurant.
Yeah,
Something as
same
simple
deal.
as that.
Yeah, I mean that's still.
You know, the cook was late or something.
Yeah, and you know how it is. It's hard to get employees to come into work and be on time and do the best job every day.
Well, they have problems too. They have they have little league ball games they got to go to, and
Moms and dads they may have to take care of, or kids they got to take care of. I get it.
I went out to one of my jobs today, and there one of the guys there had his son with him. I guess he's probably 12 or something. I said, "Who's that?" And they said, "Oh, it's so-and-so's son. He was sick today and couldn't go to school. His mother, something like that." And I thought, well, I don't want to embarrass him. I'm just going to leave because he didn't want that.
Yeah.
He was dealing with it.
Yeah.
You know, so I'll just let him deal with it however he can deal with
However
it.
he deals with it.
You know, that's.
As long as he's not impeding your work.
Well,
and
even
he was making an attempt to be
And
at
even
work,
if it was a little bit,
it's
know,
better than zero.
Yeah, we're going to do.
Yeah, it's better
Get
than zero.
mad, tell him to leave.
No, you can't do that. Yeah. Then he'll find another job.
Well, the thing about people that work for us, they're not working for a factory that has set hours and a second shift coming in, and they're going to watch their clock and leave at 4:15.
It's time for a smoke break.
Yeah,
they're not
and they
punching
got
in.
lunch,
Yeah.
and they got their lunch in their box or something.
that's
So,
it.
so we've got to. But the people that work for me are people that could not do that.
Right.
They're too independent.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yours are the same way.
Same way.
Mine may be a little more independent
Yeah.
than yours even, because they don't go to even one spot. They're more of a subs that say, well, I'll do this job for a month, but I may not do the next one.
Yeah. Man.
So we have to learn how to keep them without money being the driving
That's
force.
right. Yeah. Yeah. We gotta. Sometimes you gotta play a friend versus a being a boss.
Yeah,
Yeah. I get it.
it works.
It works. It works. But you know, it's a struggle. You know, it's a struggle juggling that. It's a fine line. You know, making money and being productive versus being a good friend and losing money.
And we got to think of the next job.
Yeah.
You got to have these people for the next job.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was
especially
talking
you.
to a guy, a cabinet guy one day. I said, man, I said, how do you figure these jobs so quick? He said, Dee, you've already taken the job. You already gave him a price. How do you figure it? And I then thought to myself, that's right. I've already figured the job for him.
Yeah.
And he didn't know he was getting the job. So he didn't have a chance to decide whether or not he wanted it, because I use him so he feels obligated. So that's another
And plus,
twist.
he's going to have a regular job. He's going to have regular accounts coming through.
Yeah.
And he's going to have.
But he's not going to be able to schedule them.
Right. That's all on you.
Did you go to Bradley?
I went to Cleveland. I went to Cleveland.
They had welding. They have welding at
Yeah,
Cleveland.
they had welding, but I never took it. Until I met Ashley, I didn't have any desire or anything. I guess I saw the writing on the wall, and
Were you just trying to be like Gerald?
yeah,
just trying to
be
get
like old Honcho. Yeah, I saw the light.
Is that his nickname?
Honcho.
How long has he had that, reckon?
I think Keith Grisham gave that to him back when he first started. So, and he's still got the placard sitting right there on his desk. And another one that says, "I'm kind of a big deal."
Keith would break. If I remember correctly, I used to go in there and sit with Keith during lunch on occasions. Did he always eat lunch there?
Every day. Yep. And on Fridays, someone had to go get him fish.
Yeah.
Every Friday.
Like from Captain D's,
Captain
I guess.
D's.
And he'd eat like bologna sandwich or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
And drink coffee with
All
it, if
day
I remember.
long.
Yeah.
All day long.
Drunk coffee with the bologna
Yep.
sandwich.
He was a true iron worker. Yeah.
I was doing a job in Chatsworth, Georgia one time, and the guy that was over it, all he did at lunch would eat a bologna sandwich and drink
Coffee.
terrible coffee.
Yeah.
So for 6 months, I went in there and ate bologna sandwich with him. It was he
I
didn't
bet
put
you keep looking
he
at
didn't put
bologna.
nothing on it. I mean, just
bread
2
and
pieces
bologna.
of bread and bologna. I thought, man, he didn't even beat potato chips. I thought, man, don't you even eat potato chips?
No,
He just ate,
bologna.
yeah, and 2 pieces of bread.
How funny.
You got any hobbies or anything you do?
Yeah, we're fortunate enough, Linda and Gerald have a place on the river, so we like boating. We love boats. Love being on the water, like surfing, wakeboarding, doing anything on the water. So my kids have grown up doing that. I grew up doing it. My mom and dad had a place on the Hiwassee also. And that's actually where I really met Ashley, was on the river, really. And so
Where was your family's place at?
Harbor Hills. You know where
Harbor
Harbor
Hills,
Hills is? Yeah. Yeah, we're on Harbor Hills. They bought it in 1981. And then we,
That's a circle drive, isn't it? It's
a dead end. You come in, it's Dean Drive, and it just circles
Yep.
back and it goes all the way down to the end, and you got to come back out in the cul-de-sac. So,
Yeah, so you were going past where her place was.
yeah, I'd go right past hers and then go up to Dean Drive and take a ride into Harrison or into Harbor Hills. Yeah.
And so you met her out on the water?
Yeah, so met her basically out on the water. She went to the same school I did,
Yeah.
but we really didn't cross paths too much in schools.
Yeah.
But on the water, we became good friends, and one thing led to another. Luckiest lady in Cleveland's all I can tell her.
So what else is going on? Do you think you're going to stay at the same spot?
I wrestle with that a lot. We're growing so fast, and the shop is not very big and it's not very modern. But I'm 53 years old. Do I want to go sink $1 million or $2 million into a new shop and start from scratch and hope that the economy is still going, or kind of hunker down and keep doing what we're doing and make a nice living and kind of not stress-free, but, don't have to worry about making a note. So that's what I wrestle with. And I lean on people like yourself, people that have been in business for a long time, and I lean on Gerald a lot. And for his...
What's Gerald think?
He thinks, he's very conservative, and he's always been smart with his money. So he's like, just hunker down, keep what we're doing, and we'll be fine. Are you going to be a gazillionaire? No. Are you going to make a decent living? Yes. Keep what you're doing. Stay debt free. Stay away from having to pay a note. That's his theory. Now, the other side of my shoulder is telling me, keep growing, keep growing. If you don't grow, you're backing up.
I heard that my whole life.
And I don't know what to listen to. So
I don't either. I'm the same spot.
I've got a good friend that's in Chattanooga, and he's got a huge company. He's got 150 something employees, and you've dealt with him, and he's been like a big mentor to me.
What's his name, Zach?
Kevin.
Kevin.
Yeah, Kevin, and he's been like a good mentor to me, and he's kind of pushing me to maybe grow a little bit and maybe go into some endeavors with him. So I don't know. I mean,
it's hard to know. It's hard to know.
I tell you what I do a lot. I pray a lot, and I pray, and that comes back, and you get this feeling in your gut whether to do it or not.
Well, if we knew how long we was going to live, it would help.
That's right. I don't know what tomorrow's going to be. I don't want to put my kids or wife into something that they got to pay for because I was gung-ho to grow.
I feel like maybe that's the second generation's job, if you knew they were going to do that. But you don't. Kids nowadays, they won't tell you what they even want to do.
Yeah, no. But if I tell you another thing, if I was a little bit younger, there would be no doubt in my mind.
What 35 or 45?
Probably 40 years old. If I was 40 years old and I knew that we were where we are right now, there'd be no question in my mind. We'd be moving.
But 53 is a little different.
It's a little different. You can see that the tunnel is getting, it's opening up a little bit. So you can see the light at the end of that tunnel that, where you want to get to in life. My kids are, got one graduating college, got the other one a second year in college, and, what's after that? They get off payroll. Basically get off payroll, and life is you don't want to be life is stressful when you're 65, 70 years old.
And of course, I wrestle with the same question: get bigger or get smaller, or go out.
Or just stay steady and just keep doing what you're doing. I wish I knew.
That's not really how I'm made, though. I'm made to. But why else do we bang our heads against the wall?
I don't know.
I mean, I've got what I set out to do, so why do any more?
I know. That's a good.
I mean,
That's a
but
million.
then
That's your $1 million question.
But I'll hear a good song on the radio, and everything will be going good one morning, and I'm ready to take on Bradley County and going into Dayton and take over Chattanooga and take over Knoxville.
Yeah.
And then by 3 o'clock, something happens, and I get pissed
well,
off, and I want
what
to
am I
sell
doing?
everything.
Yeah, why am I doing this? Yeah.
So I don't know.
You're not naked or alone on that thought.
I don't.
No.
I wished I had somebody that could tell me the answer.
I know.
When I was 40, they told me the answer. They said, "Keep going, man."
Yeah.
When I was turned 50, they said, "I tell you what Jim Sharp told me," because I asked him the same thing. I said, "Jim," I said, "when you're 50, can you still build and develop and buy and invest?" He said, "Oh, Dee, when you're 50, you can do all that you want to. You just can't make any mistakes."
Yeah, that's true.
That didn't give me the answer I wanted.
But it was a good answer.
It was a good answer. You just can't. But how do you
know?
Okay, well, now if you eliminate things that might be a mistake, that answers our question. Yeah. Keep doing what we're doing. If that's the answer.
I don't know if it is or not. That's the $1 million question we wrestle with. But you know what? Like I said, faith is important to me. Mm-hmm. So I just keep on praying and tell him to lead me in the right way. And so far, knock on wood, it's been pretty good.
I've noticed when I make decisions and I really try to force it, like the other day I was trying to call somebody. I was going to tell them something. Every time I got ready to call them, the phone would ring. Finally, I got to where I was going to do it. And something went wrong with the phone. I forget something. And I thought, it must be meant for me not to call this, because I've tried 3-4 times and I couldn't get it done, so I didn't make it.
Yeah.
The next day, I was glad I didn't make it.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if it's if it's too hard, then don't do it. Let it be the easy pass.
Yeah. I don't know.
If it just falls in your lap.
Yeah.
Then do it. I don't know.
I don't know either.
And if you had kids that really wanted to get into it.
Yeah, that's a different. I don't. Mm-hmm. I don't have anybody that wants to. My son is, he's motivated. He knows exactly what he wants to do in life, and he is headed in the right direction. And my daughter, she's not obviously didn't want to do it. She's either going to be in sales of some sort or.
You'd have to find somebody to sell out to.
Yeah.
You don't have a Jim.
No, I don't have a son-in-law or a son. That
you were more important to Gerald than you realized.
I think so. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if he'd tell you that, but
no.
but like I said, we had a good team. We've still got a good team. Gerald is still a very important part of that business.
Oh, absolutely.
And I lean heavily on him, and he's 77 years old, and he's not going to be able to do this forever.
He gets around good for 77.
He sure does. I tell you what, I'll take 77 on a handshake.
I think my dad's 78.
Yeah.
I bet they were in school together.
I bet they were. Bradley High School.
School.
Yeah, Gerald was a hell of an athlete. He was a great athlete.
My dad was 21 when I was born, I think, or 20. So, when did Gerald and her get married? Do you know?
1971. 1970.
Yeah, I was born in 65, so my dad was earlier. They were about 25 or 26 then, I guess. Something like that.
1970s when they got married.
Well, what about the traffic in Cleveland? Does that drive you nuts?
Crazy. That up there, Paul Huff, is insane.
You can just about go down Mouse Creek Road, go across Hooper Gap Road, and come back down Frontage Road in the amount of time you can go from Home Depot to the other side of the interstate.
Yep, you're exactly right. Especially on a Friday.
It won't miss it 5 minutes.
No.
But you know what? I've been driving up Mouse Creek Road the last few days on where Hooper Gap is, and that's getting pretty busy.
Yeah.
I noticed they got some wires going across the road. I'm wondering if they're thinking about putting
Developing something.
a red light, or you could really put a red light there.
Yeah.
Isn't that bizarre? A red
Right
light
there
on
on
Hooper
Hooper
Gap
Gap
Road,
Road.
of all places. I remember when
No
that
way.
was a gravel road.
No way. Can't be.
It's busy enough.
Yeah.
You can't text while you're driving through there.
Yeah, but it's a dangerous road. Yeah.
But I don't know but all the development's sort of going out. You can't hardly get from your shop to the orbit like you used to.
No,
It's
no.
just,
No. I got to move a piece of equipment, and I've got Bullen's truck and going to do it for me. We're going to do it at 4 o'clock in the morning, so we don't have any traffic.
where you got to move it to?
I got to move it to off of Peerless, from my shop to Peerless.
Is it that big?
Yeah, yeah.
How wide is it?
14 feet wide.
So you got to have a special permit or
Yeah,
something?
we're going to have the police escort. So, but yeah,
What kind of equipment is it?
it's a ramp, a loading ramp.
Oh, to M&M Mars, I guess.
Yeah. It's a loading.
4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, so we just don't have any traffic. Yeah.
You couldn't figure that out a year ago that
No.
you had to do that.
Yeah.
I think anything over 10 foot
10 feet
wide, you had
yeah.
to have a special
I
permit.
think it's 9'6". 9'6".
That's
got a
why
special
most of these
permit.
little storage buildings that they sell are just 9 foot tall.
Yeah. 9'6" is how wide you can have it.
You ever heard anybody say, this house was built to be able to move and you can build this move? I've moved buildings before. There ain't no building built to move except a little storage building.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can you imagine sawing a duplex in half and taking the brick off, and
And then jacking it up.
And jacking it
what's
up.
the sheetrock going to do? The sheetrock's going to
it's
buckle.
going to be
and
all the pieces?
Yeah.
Got to unhook the
Power.
and then move it somewhere, keep it up on steel,
Yeah.
lay blocks underneath it,
Yeah,
replumb
how
it.
cost efficient is
Now
that?
you got to put the siding back on,
Yeah.
and all the windows are set for brick instead of siding,
Yeah.
which is.
Yeah.
And then the
why
truss,
don't
you
build a new
got to
house?
cut the trusses in half and lay them down. And you know what it's like saying, okay, city, I want you to approve these trusses being rebuilt. They'd want Tri-State to give a letter certifying that you built them okay.
Yeah.
And then if it rained, people would claim mold got in there before you could close it up.
Yeah.
I moved a building for Max Everhart. You know that old golfing range?
Oh, yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I moved where their office is now. It was that building. So I moved it from there over across from Duracell.
Yeah.
And so one Thanksgiving morning, I got out and wasn't time to eat. And I just had to get out. And I was going to go see if it was dry under there. And I crawled under there and I stood up and I hit that beam right as I was coming up. You know, when I was
Yeah.
just about knocked me out. And I thought, boy, nobody would ever known I was over there on Thanksgiving morning.
Yeah.
But anyway, it isn't worth moving the
It's
building.
not.
It's not. It was covered up with plastic and it got wet and everything. It's just not worth. Plus the heat in there, you got to
Get through it. Yeah.
pull the vacuum on the heat and air lines, and it's just. And then it's always a building that was moved.
Yeah.
It's got to decrease the value
Value.
some. And all you're moving is the two-by-fours and windows. That ain't, it's just crazy.
Yeah. I'd rather just reload.
Just
Reload.
rebuild the whole thing.
Reload.
Do y'all, what time do y'all start in the morning?
So I got a crew that goes in at 6:30, and I got a crew that comes in at 7 a.m. So I got two crews that come in. And
That's not a big difference.
no, but that 30 minutes gets a good jump on. We do a lot of safety checks. So they get there early. They do all the safety checks on all the equipment, all of our harnesses, and make sure that everything's good to go. And then they work, from 6:30 to 3:30. Now the crew comes in at 7, and everything's already been inspected. Let's go. There's no excuses. Let's hit the floor running. Let's go.
Well, what else is going on, Jim? Anything?
No, I just trying to plug along, try to get through this year and get through this election year, and hopefully, this election will get
Next
us
week, right?
Yeah, next Tuesday.
This
Yeah.
time next week. This
Next
time
time
next week.
we'll know who's who.
Will you be home? Will you stay home and watch it?
The last two I have not watched it. I don't want to get upset.
So I always watch the elections. I'll sit down at 6 o'clock and I'll watch everything on TV till 2 or 3 in the morning. I really get excited about it.
I'm excited about it, but I don't want to go to bed where I can't go to bed. I don't want
Yeah.
to go to bed mad.
Yeah.
The last one I kind of lingered around just a little bit just to watch it. I was like, okay, things are heading in the right direction.
Right. And they weren't.
And then it went south. So
What time do you have to go to bed to be there that early?
So I get there about 5:15,
Golly.
5:20 every morning. So I go to bed around 10 o'clock.
Is that enough sleep?
Probably not, but I'm up anyway. I mean, that's just my natural. That's just when I wake up. It doesn't matter if I go to bed at midnight. I'll be up at 4:45, 5 o'clock every morning.
I get up, but I go back to pee and go back to bed.
I can't do that. That's just it's a curse. I can go to sleep fast, but I don't stay asleep.
Well, if I get up and I got a melatonin I keep beside the bed, and if it gets about 20 minutes and I ain't going back to sleep, I'll take a little quarter of a melatonin and I'll put me right back. Because sleep's important,
Yeah, it is important.
especially but you get there at 5 o'clock, Lord.
Well, I get there about 5:15 to 5:30. Depends on.
You stop and get coffee or take it
I
from,
take it with me. Yeah, take coffee
from the
with me.
house?
Yeah, from the house. Yeah.
Yeah.
Get there, close the door, and do a little book work. Make sure all the invoices are up to date and stuff like that, and checking emails because I don't get to check emails during the day. So
You don't check them of evening before you go to bed?
I'll try in the evenings. I'll come in from wherever we've been working, and I'll check a few. But morning times, I like getting focused in the morning.
Well, I can't go to bed till I've got it all in order.
Yeah,
I'll stay up till 2 in the morning
if you have
because
to.
I can't go to sleep if I don't have it all in order.
That's good. That's good. I wish I was more like that.
But I'm not a light sleeper, so it doesn't matter. I just get up when I get up because alarm clock, I can't hear it.
Yeah, well,
I don't hear nothing.
You don't hear nothing.
Nothing.
I'm just the opposite. Pin drop, I can hear it.
So, well, anything else? I appreciate you coming.
Yeah, I appreciate you inviting me. It's an honor being here.
Do you think Cleveland's going to keep growing?
Absolutely. Yeah. I just hope our infrastructure can hold up.
Would you rather go towards Georgetown and Charleston to work, or would you rather head into Chattanooga?
I'd probably head south and head that way. It's a little bit easier, it seems like.
I mean, if you leave Chattanooga about 2:30, you're in trouble.
No, you're in trouble. If you're leaving from Chattanooga, you're in trouble.
You're in trouble.
Now, I quoted a job not too long ago, a job all the way up on, where was it? South Pittsburgh up there.
Mm-hmm.
And I bid it, and it took me almost 2 hours to get to the job site. And when I bid it, I was like, well, I've got to figure, 4 hours of travel time, 4.5 hours travel time for a truck.
Yeah.
And then when I gave the customer the quote, they were like, holy cow, you got to be kidding me. I was like, no, this is what it cost me to travel every day. And this is going to be a big job. And they couldn't believe it, and like, I can't pay that. Well, I get it. I wouldn't either.
I did a job in the law group. It was an hour and 15 minutes from Cleveland.
Yeah. Yeah, it's tough. Travel time's tough.
Travel time. Sometimes it's better to use a guy that's in town if he's close.
Yeah. And that's, I'm not here to
Do you
To
do
work for
a
free.
lot of your work in Chattanooga, or is it mostly
do quite a bit in Chattanooga.
20%?
I'd say more than that. I mean, I would say probably for the residential side, we probably do. It's probably 50-50.
Is that right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you're traveling a lot to
Yeah,
Chattanooga.
Yeah. And we've kind of slowed down on the residential just because we're so busy on the commercial side, but we're gaining on it.
It's a different customer, isn't it?
It is. It is, and as well as I know, you get to deal with a customer for 9 months to maybe 18 months.
Yeah.
I deal with them for maybe, if it's a big job, 8 weeks.
Yeah.
So I don't have the headache like you do.
A residential person will cry and a business guy will sue you.
Yeah.
Take your pick.
Yes. Yes, amen. Yeah. And it's slower to get paid on big commercial jobs versus
Yeah,
residential.
it does,
I can go to D and I'm paid the next week.
Yeah, I remember one time I was used to, me and Gerald would eat at, there was a table that had a lot of different people that just came in. Well, this was, he was at the Liars, but this was a lunch crew that was there that would come back at lunch and eat.
Stadfeld's?
At Stadfeld's. Yeah. And I remember one day I said, because his invoices at the time said due the 25th, and it was like the 27th or something. I said, Gerald, I'm going to mail you that check. He said, Dee, if everybody paid like you, I wouldn't have any problem. And I was already late.
Yeah, that's funny.
That's hard to keep up with, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
So who does that? You have office people, or you?
I got a lady that does all of it. Yeah, and then my wife is coming to work for us. Hopefully at the beginning of the year. She's going to retire from Cleveland City School Systems. She's been there for 25 years, and she's ready to retire and get away, step away from that. And I need someone that I can have there at the shop that I can trust, and someone to do the books and take that pressure off me and Gerald. So,
did she ever work for Gerald at all?
No.
So she's gonna have an eye opener.
She is gonna have an eye opener. Yeah, she thinks it's gonna be nice and easy, but she's gonna see that it's a little different animal than versus with little kids. She's got big kids. Yeah.
Jim, I appreciate you coming, buddy.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Enjoyed it.